Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Leadership Satsang. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehndi. Thank you so much for joining me today for a very, very important topic, which is the importance of relationships in leadership. I thought of this topic because, not only because I get a lot of questions on managing relationships and managing people from lots of leaders, but I think it's just so topical as well because we celebrated Raksha Bandhan yesterday, 19th of August. And it's a day that I look forward to because I get to meet my cousins and we all kind of celebrate Rakhi together. And this time it was even more special because my sister is here with her kids. So all the kids were tying Rakhi to each other. And it was just such a beautiful sight to see this bonding, this love taking shape even in the next generation. And that is the power of all these rituals that we have, in our culture. And that's what makes it so beautiful and so unique. But I strongly believe that this bonding of love, this mutual respect that we have for each other in our personal space needs to be extended in the professional space as well. We need to know what it takes to develop relationships. What does it take to nurture relationships? And how important is it for me to be an effective leader? So let's dive deeper into this space in a bit. Before we get there, let's bring ourselves into this moment completely. And for that, we will chant Om together 5 times. So may I request you to please find a nice, comfortable place to sit if you can, keeping your spine straight and relax your shoulders and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And breathe out. Anywhere, any discomfort, just let it go. Just loosen up a little bit. Let's forget about whatever happened before happen in some time from now. If you can just be in the now for just a few minutes. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. As you exhale, see if you can do it out loud in your space if the environment allows. Take a nice deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Rub your hands together. And place them on your eyes, on your face, and your shoulders, and your entire body, and slowly come. And as you do, tell me if you're here with me 100%. Let's have 100% in the comments, please, so that I know you're here with me 100%. And also share with me, where are you connecting from today? Which part of the world are you in right now? Yeah, and also keep confirming the network to me, because I'm in a bit of a weak network right now. So I want to make sure that I'm reaching out to you completely. If you lose me at any point, please mention it in the comments so that I can repeat myself. Yeah, okay. Indiran, good to have you here. Chida, welcome, welcome. Ila, so good to have you. Parthasarthi, wonderful. So good to have you all here. Hi, Tushar. You're here 100%. So good to know that. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me live, and thank you for being here week after week. And that is what motivates me to keep going with some of the other important insight. And there is just so much to talk about that. I was just kind of going through the previous satsang sessions, and I realized that in all these 80 plus episodes that we've had, we've not repeated a single topic, because there is just so much to talk about in the space of leadership. And that's amazing. So please do keep sharing your questions, by the way. I want to take this as an opportunity to reach out to you all and address your concerns as soon as I can, as often as I can. As you know, the last Tuesday of every month is an open house any which way, live, like in real time. But even otherwise, if you have a question or a challenge that you're dealing with in life, just write to me. My email address is yukti@sbyacademy.com. I've put it in the comments as well. So feel free to share your questions with me, and I will do my best to bring them up in the episodes to come. Okay, so with that said, let's look at the importance of relationships. Now let's understand that as leaders, our job is to drive a group of people so that they can bring in their strengths, their skills to deliver the goal, that bigger picture. That's the role of a leader. What adds effectiveness to this role is to understand that no results can be achieved without building relationships first. Because we are leading people and not robots. And people have emotions. All humans have emotions. And if we don't understand those emotions, we don't develop the intelligence to connect with people. We will never be able to understand their true potential. And if that's not understood right way, it does not give you the desired result, including inspiring and engaging every team member on daily basis. Your only job as a leader is to learn how best can you create this balance between results and relationships. You cannot get results without relationships. And working only on relationships with no focus on results is also a waste of time, because when you are engaged only in just keeping relationships going is when you are probably getting carried away with becoming a popular person yourself, being liked by people yourself. Listen to what I'm saying. It's a very, very important point that I'm trying to bring out here. Maintaining relationships or developing strong relationships is not to be done with the intention of being loved by everyone. That I want to maintain good relationships, even if that means that I will have to encourage mediocrity or I will have to encourage incompetency. No, absolutely not. Because if you're doing that, that simply means that you're putting yourself before the result requires of you, before the results. That balance that I'm talking about will bring in situations that might not be very good or happy situations. There could be times when you have to let go of people. because they're not getting the results that you want. And there will be times when you will have to be a little more patient to get the results that you need. And you need to develop those relationships in that time. You need to invest and nurture these relationships that you need to have with people so that they can eventually contribute towards getting you the results that are required of them. Are we following this? Are we understanding? If you are with me, then please say with you in the comments. Say with you in the comments so that I know you're understanding what I'm saying here. The balance between results and relationships is about giving equal weightage to both. Knowing that there will be times when you will have to focus more on results and you will have to let go of relationships. And you might say that, you know what, Yukti, I really like you as a person, but I don't see how you are adding value to the team. We have provided necessary, training to you, and yet this association at this point. If I have to let you go, I will have to let you go. Because beyond a point, I don't see you adding value to the team. If I am holding on to people, and let me tell you, I've seen this in close proximity. There are a lot of organizations and leaders specifically who believe that the only way to show how good and effective a leader they are is to be able to say that whoever works with me for years. I never fire anyone. Is that a good thing? Yeah, it is a good thing. Absolutely, it's a good thing. But it's a good thing if you have done the necessary work to make sure that these people who are not performing start performing at some point. But if you're tolerating low performance, only so you could say to people that I never fire anybody, that is your weakness and not your strength. You don't have the courage to pull the plug when it is needed. You are not able to look at the bigger picture. You are only busy with yourself being more popular, more liked, more loved by everybody. That's not what is expected of you as an effective leader. And I don't know how to say that in any other way. So I'm not going to mince my words here. I'm going to tell you exactly how you need to hear it. You don't have to win any popularity contest as a leader. You need to make sure that people are supported in the way possible so that they get the work or make the contribution that is expected of them in the role that they play within the organization. And so to that extent, we need to keep that balance between the results that we want from people and the relationships that we have with them. Because without relationships, whatever they will do with the intent to do it because they have to get the salary to pay the bills. I have to do something for you and I want to do something with you are two very different emotions. Would you agree? Give me agree in the comments if you agree with this. I have to do it because I want my salary, I have to pay the bills. So I have to do what you want me to do. And the best opportunity and the next opportunity I get to run away, I will. Right? But the other mindset, the other attitude is I want to do it because you are asking me to do it. This is where relationships start reflecting. This is where the power of relationship, the importance of relationship starts coming in. So with that said, let's be crystal clear that results can never be more important than relationships, and relationships also cannot go ahead of results all the time. There needs to be a balance. Are we crystal clear about this? Then give me CC in the comments, please. Give me CC in the comments that you are crystal clear about the fact that we need to keep the balance between the two. We need to focus on results at all times. And we also need to work on our relationships, because if people don't have that relationship with you, they will do what they will do because they have to do it and not that they want to do it, right? So let's be crystal clear, right? Lalit, thank you. Jitendra, thank you for confirming in the run. We're crystal clear about this. Fantastic. Okay, now let's see what is it that we can do to improve our relationships with people. So let's face it, we don't get to select our teams. We don't get to choose who we will report to or who will report into us. Sometimes we have a limited role to play in the hiring process, but even then we don't know the whole personality of the person being hired. It is a half an hour conversation and some facts on a piece of paper we call as resume basis which we make this very important decision of working with this individual for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or whatever number of years that you will work as colleagues, right? So we don't get to choose people we work with, which means that we need to be ready with the fact that it takes all to make the world. If I'm going to invest my time in changing people the way I like people to be, I will be wasting my time and theirs. Why? Because nobody can change anybody. You can only change yourself. I've said this a million times, and I will continue to till it becomes part of our DNA, our thinking, our attitude, that there's no need for us to go change people because we think they should change, because we think it'll be good for them. You can only try, but it will go in vain because no one can change anyone. So what do we need to do? We need to follow the 3 A's. Before I share the 3 A's with you, let me give you the essence of relationships one more time. Relationships have to be nurtured. We need to work upon every single relationship we have in life, including the relationship you have with your own child, the relationship you have with your parents. Every relationship needs to be nurtured like how you nurture a plant. When you buy one and bring it to your house, your job is not done. It's not over, right? It's not like, okay, I've got this plant, it's fairly expensive. I've got it from a very nice place, very good quality soil, very good seed. It looks very nourished. And now that I've bought it, it needs to take care of itself. Does it happen that way? It does not. What do? You water the plant every day. You keep it out in the sun, giving it the right amount of sunlight. Different plants require different level of sunlight, different intensity of sunlight, and you need to place them accordingly. If you know a little bit about gardening, you know what I'm saying, right? So you've got to position plants depending upon the kind of plant it is, so that it gets the right amount of sunlight every day, the right amount of water every day. You will keep shuffling the soil so that the nutrients are nourished. You will add some medicine to it once in a while, sometimes proactively, sometimes reactively. You understand? Sometimes proactively so that it doesn't get spoiled. Sometimes you see some weeds growing up and you need to react to that. You need to respond to that. You need to pluck out the weeds. You need to make sure that, whatever little moss around is taking up or anything happening to the plant is rectified as soon as possible before it wilts. What are you doing here? You are nurturing the plant on daily basis. This is how we need to look at our relationships in life, whether personal or professional. We need to nurture them with love and attention and empathy and respect at all times, every day. Every relationship needs to be worked upon. The moment you start taking relationships for granted to the extent that I don't need to do anything about it. Now, I love this girl, I married this girl, now my job is done. Now I've got her or I've got him. And now that's it. What more am I supposed to do? Now we are just living together. There is nothing more to be done for each other. Is that how we want to treat our relationships? Because if we do, we know that after some time, we start feeling the gap. The gap starts seeping in. There is no spark left. There is no excitement. There is no connection. And then you go back to the times when you were crazy about each other. And you wonder, hey, you know what? What's wrong? I don't feel that way anymore. Why? Because I'm not putting in anything in this relationship anymore. I'm not investing. I'm not nurturing this relationship. Just because you've got a job and you have these 3 people reporting into you does not mean you can take them for granted. You need to nurture those relationships as well. You need to make sure they understand who you are as much as you need to understand who they are and where they come from, how they feel, what are their aspirations and their dreams and their fears. What is their story? Where do they want to be? Where have they come from? All of this is part of nurturing the relationship. It's about understanding each other because we are not dealing with robots, not just yet. We're dealing with people, and each one of us is as unique as our fingerprints. I keep saying that because it's so true. So the more you invest your effort and time in understanding people, the easier it gets for you to make that relationship stronger. You strengthen that bonding. that you have with people. Having said that, you don't need to become best friends with everybody. That's not needed. That's not important either. What is important is to have that mutual respect, to have mutual trust, right? So that everybody feels safe and no one is intimidated or works under fear. Leading people with fear is not leadership at all. You're at best managing them for that point till such time they get a better opportunity. Sometimes that opportunity just means a better environment. Trust me, it's probably true for you. It's definitely true for a few people I know personally. They are happy to switch to another job with the same salary so that they get a better environment, a better person to work with. That's it. That's a huge motivation for so many people to quit. In fact, sometimes they take a haircut as well, saying, you know what? I'd rather earn less than to be in a toxic environment. What do you mean by toxic environment? When people are not willing to understand each other, when there is more proving than purpose. That is what makes environment toxic. So now how do we start building relationships? Knowing how important it is and knowing that we have to do something about it. We need to work on our relationships. It just doesn't happen on its own, not even with your own child. You need to invest. And it's not just the money that you're investing, by the way, in their life and education and future. It's the time that you invest, the emotions that catch up on daily basis. That is the daily water and sunlight that every relationship requires. Does this make sense? Give me makes sense in the comments first. And then I'm going to add to it by sharing 3 A's with which you can strengthen your relationships. We cannot nurture all our relations with the same intensity at all times. Yes, Lawrence, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we don't have to. We don't have to till such time it helps us to work together with that mutual respect and trust required to do anything. We are good with it. We don't need to make sure that we're having meals with every person, every stakeholder, or we're taking those coffee breaks together. Absolutely not. Building relationships means developing that level of trust and respect first. And that needs a little conscious effort and investment of time. That is what helps us to start working more cohesively. That is what helps us to truly collaborate with each other. When we are on the same side of the table, when we are all able to see the same view, that bigger picture, that goal that we all want to achieve. It's not my goal. It's our goal. I'm not doing this for my boss. I'm doing this for our organization. And hence, it's important to nurture relationships to the extent required, depending upon the relationship you have with people. Right? So thank you for that comment. And I hope that clarifies how important it is to still make sure that you kind of put in the effort to nurture every relationship. So when it comes to making the effort and investing the time and and the effort required to develop relationships, you need to first be aware of how you behave in that particular relationship. Awareness is the first A. Being aware of how you feel in the presence of this person, how you experience emotions with this person. How do you conduct yourself in this relationship with this person, whether professional or personal? Awareness is the first A, where you are cognizant of the fact that this relationship or this person makes me feel comfortable or uncomfortable, happy or not so happy, safe or unsafe, right? Inclusive or I feel excluded. Do I feel like I'm fitting in? Do I feel invited or do I feel ignored? How do I feel? What emotions do I experience in this relationship? That awareness is the first step towards strengthening a relationship. The second A is acceptance. So now that I know that this person is the way the person is, and I've probably given them some labels, which might or might not be true, but I give them labels because I want to create some level of familiarity so that I start feeling a little safe in my, in the way I want to conduct myself. So I quickly judge everybody around saying, okay, this person is easy to work with. This person is too overconfident. This person is like this. This person is like that. I've created a little familiarity. And now that helps me to feel more comfortable and do what I need to do as an equal contributor in the team. So that labeling will happen. That's human psychology, right? Whether you stick to that label or not, that is your emotional maturity. So if you worked on being more mature, more emotionally mature, you will know that those questions, those labels are always questioned, and they should be questioned. You should always keep questioning whatever labels you give to people, whether good or bad. And be open to being challenged. Be open to being wrong about whatever label you have given to this person. This person who you think is a very difficult person to work with might be the best colleague you could ever have if you're open to observing more of them than what met your eye the first time, or how you felt the first time, or the first few times with this person, right? So acceptance helps you to be comfortable with the way things are without feeling the need or desperation to change anything. First, being aware of how you feel with this person in the relationship. And the second is accepting them for who they are, or who you understand them to be. And then the third is appreciation. That's the third A. Appreciating what you are genuinely observing as somebody's strengths and positives, because we all have something positive to go to help us with, that makes us, who we are. No matter how you see this person to be, and no matter how bad or terrible this person might appear to you, there are things which are positive, so to say, about this person too. There is always a reason to appreciate if we are willing. If we are willing. Sometimes you're just not willing to see it that way. Sometimes we are hell-bent on just finding all the mistakes and problems and flaws and weaknesses in people around us who we don't like, who've not made us feel the way we wanted to feel, or who've not catered to our ego, or who've not done what we expected them to do. So we are hell-bent on just finding everything wrong about these people. But no matter who it is, and who you consider as the worst person on earth, also has some good qualities in them. Remember, the person you hate, that same person is loved by many other people. As much as there's this person who you love, could be disliked by many others. The way we see people is through our own lens. And that lens has its own limitations. Limitation of our own experiences, our own education, our environment. All these E's come together in the way we see people through that lens. Are you following what I'm saying? So through that lens, I labeled you. And now that I've labeled you and I've created some level of familiarity and comfort for myself, I'm feeling a little safe to know how I will deal with you. I also need to be willing to stay open. And what will help me to stay open is to willingly see the good qualities in you. What are some of the things that are good about you? What is your strength? Can I put my energy there? Because wherever your attention goes, energy flows. If you are hell-bent on seeing all the negatives, your energy is going to go towards that only. You will see more negatives. But if you are willing to see what's positive about this person, you will find more and more reasons to like them, because you will see those positives showing up a lot more often than how you've noticed them before now, because you were not looking at them the way you are now. Appreciating people is not about becoming a people pleaser. It's about understanding people and having the intention to work on these relationships, knowing that everybody is different. The more you feel the need to stick to a right and a wrong, the less you will have the ability to understand people for who they are. Because there are no universal rights and wrongs. My right can be your wrong, right? And my wrong could be your right. It depends on the context. It depends on the values that we have. It depends on the worldview that I have created and you have created. Relationships is about learning how to include people. And if you want to be exclusive yourself, you need to learn to be inclusive first. Being aware of how you conduct yourself in relationships, accepting people for who they are, and having the willingness to appreciate them for their positive qualities helps us to not only understand people, but also develop more meaningful relationships with them. Let's remember that the foundation of every relationship is respect and trust. even if I am not who you want me to be, I am who I am, and there are a few things that I bring out on the table as my positive qualities. And if you, as a leader, can identify those qualities, is when you will be able to get the best out of me, which, by the way, is your only job. So let's keep that as our focus to be more effective as leaders and not be on this mission to change the world the way we think it should be. As Mahatma Gandhi rightly said, be the change you want to see in the world. So if there is something that you think should be done differently, how about trying it out yourself first? How about taking the initiative of being more accountable for how your relationships are instead of complaining and blaming others for being the way they are? Let's bring this little shift in our own approach towards people and relationships and see how far it takes you in your own leadership journey. So with that, we conclude today's satsang session. If you have views on this topic, please do share. What is your approach of strengthening relationships to become better leaders, more effective leaders? And how has this 3A approach helped you to understand relationships better and make them stronger, whether in a personal or a professional environment, is what I would love to know in the comments after this session. So thank you so much for joining in live and for being a part of this Leadership Satsang sessions. I will see you next week with another important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much. I hope this was a useful session. Please do let me know if it was, and if you have any questions related to the topic, would love to take them up, and also would love to know your views on the importance of relationships in leadership. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here once again.